Today I want to go over a topic of conversation that's been raised by TF Nation in their latest video blog. But first of all, before I go any further, I do have a Facebook page, Go Geo Prime, where I do post images of the figures in my collection, links to any videos I do, and anything else I find of interest. So do please, if you have the time, find the page, hit like, hit subscribe, and do feel free to comment on anything that I do post. So what was this topic of conversation that David Wallace from TF Nation has posted on? So it was his perfect wave of figures. So basically he went through a list of figures he'd like to see in his perfect wave, and it got me thinking, what would I like to see in my perfect wave of figures? And I thought it might be nice just to run through my perception of what a perfect wave of Transformers figures would be, and if Hasbro actually bothered to make them. So first off, we'll start, I'll do the same format roughly that TF Nation have done with their videos. So I'm going to do 4 Deluxe, 2 Voyager, I'm going to do a Leader, a Commander, and a Titan class figure. We'll start with the Deluxes first, and then we'll run from there. I'm not doing core because I don't collect core figures. But first off, in the Deluxe figure category range is Slipstream. Now, I have to admit, Slipstream as a character has grown on me over the years. She's one of the few female Decepticons that is out there, and she's also one of the Seekers, the Decepticons who have the flight capability. She also seems to be a Decepticon, at least in the literature and when she has appeared in TV shows, who can quite literally run rings around everyone else, except maybe for the likes of Megatron, Soundwave, and Shockwave. When it comes to Starscream, she basically leaves him behind by a country mile. She's not had a new figure for a few years. She has had a couple of figures, but nothing for a good few years. So I think it would be nice to see her getting a new figure, especially since she was quite central to the Cyberverse story, at least in the first 2 seasons. So that would be my first choice for a figure. The second choice for a figure is Transformers Armada Red Alert. Now, we are getting a Cybertron Cannonball coming fairly, well, now really, which leads me to suspect we are going to be getting the Unicron trilogy version of Red Alert fairly soon. I would like this figure basically to round out the Autobots for my Armada collection. We have already had Optimus Prime, we've had Hotshot, and with Red Alert, we'd have the initial trio of bots that appeared in the first few episodes of Armada. And I would really like that to happen. And I do quite like the character design in a Red Alert as well. Choice number 3 for myself, again, is another Armada character, and this time it is Demolisher from the Decepticons. I've always liked Demolisher. I like the look of the bot mode, I like the look of the vehicle mode. I actually have the original Demolisher toy upstairs in a box somewhere, and I think it's a really, really good toy, actually, even by today's standards. I would like him just, to have another Armada Decepticon primarily, but also because it's a character I do actually quite like, especially this iteration of him. So I think it'd be really, really nice to have Demolisher in this list as well, just to get, another non-G1 figure some love. Now, the next choice is one purely because I was looking through the lists of Transformers on TF Wiki, and this one stood out to me just because it's absolutely crazy, and it would be a really fun army builder, in my opinion, as well, and that is Stampy. Stampy from Beast Wars Neo. I think this would be an absolutely hilarious character to do. Who wouldn't want a giant transforming bunny rabbit? Think of the repaint possibilities. You could have an army of multicolored maximal bunny rabbits like Seekers I think that would be absolutely hilarious. You could get a white one, a brown one, a black one, multicolored patch ones. I think it would be an absolute hysterical laugh to have an army of Stampies sitting on your shelf. I think it's one that should definitely happen, just for the sheer comic value of it. I really, really do. But moving on. So now we're moving to the Voyager category. And this next one is a character I've liked the look of the figure for a very, very long time, but I've never been able to find one actually on eBay or at TF Nation or Auto Assembly when I've been there, and that is King Atlas. Now, King Atlas was a repaint of Machine Wars Starscream that appeared in the 2003 Transformers Universe toy line. And I have to admit, I just really like the look of this thing. I just do. It looks great, in my opinion. And if we could get a Voyager class version of this guy, I think it would look absolutely fantastic, especially, you know, in a big bulky jet mode and transforms into a big bulky Autobot. I think that would look absolutely fantastic. And again, it would also give the maybe the ability to have down the road a Machine Wars Starscream, which was a black and white version of this, if I remember correctly, and maybe also a G1 style Skyquake as well. I do like the figure in all three iterations, but the Atlas version is my personal favorite. I would love to see this particular version. The next one is from Beast Machines, and that is Tankor. Out of all the Viacons, Tankor is my favorite. A big, lumbering brute, massive amounts of firepower, very simple-minded. There's just something about Tankor I really, really love. Now, he has had a release a good few years ago, but it was a deluxe-sized toy. Really, I think Tankor, you'd need a Voyager or bigger, quite frankly. But yeah, it's a character I really, really love, and it's a toy design I really, really love as well. It's very simplistic, but, you know, very colourful, very enjoyable, quite frankly, on the eye. I would love to see a Voyager size or bigger version of this particular character. Now, the next one is one we kind of have been teased on the Magmatron box art coming up later this year, but it's one I would definitely want to get now that we are getting that character, and that is Big Convoy. Big Convoy was the leader of the Maximal Squad in Beast Wars Neo, and obviously he would go very well with Stampy. I just have visions now of Big Convoy in in mammoth mode, surrounded by an army of Stampies. It's quite a comical thought, actually. But yeah, I would love to see this guy in leader mode. And again, there are a couple of possible repaints. There was an Ultra Magnus version of this character as well. And we also had a Nemesis Prime version of him as well back in the Universe line. So again, it would tie into that. So, you know, these are figures that could be reused again and again and again to create alternate characters. But again, I actually really do like the Big Convoy robot mode and his animal mode as well. I actually do prefer this to Leo Convoy. Out of the two of them, you know, I do actually prefer Big Convoy to Leo Convoy. But he's probably my second favorite Maximal leader after Optimus Primal. Then we're going to go on to my Command class figure. And this one is Thunderwing. G1 Thunderwing, to be more specific. Now, it has to be said, Thunderwing is a very long-standing fan favorite character. From the original G1 Marvel days to the IDW days. He's had one toy released aside from his original toy which was insanely hard to get a hold of, and now goes for a truly staggering amount if you can find a complete one that is for sale. He's only ever had one deluxe class toy ever released, and I think if there is a character that truly deserves a command class toy, it has to be Thunderwing. You know, you could get this articulated shell which you stick a bot into. I think they would be absolutely fantastic, and I really do think fans, not just of G1 but others as well. I mean, this character also appeared in Prime in the video game, if I remember correctly. I think this would be a brilliant toy to have. I really, really do. And I can only hope that one day we do get a new version of Thunderwing, and he is going to be much bigger than a deluxe class toy. So that brings us on to my Titan choice. Now, this is a figure I've harped on about, or a character I have harped on about before in videos I've done or in posts that I've made, and that is Marjin Zarak. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Marjin Zarak, he is a character from the Beast Wars second movie. He was a Predacon / Decepticon weapon of ultimate mass destruction, which was brought into the conflict by the Beast Wars Galvatron character. He turned into a aircraft carrier on treads, which then turned into this demon-like monster thing. I've watched that particular movie and that sequence. It is truly wonderful to see this aircraft carrier rolling along the ground, then transforming into this massive demon-like creature, which you see here on the screen. I mean, if it was going to be a Titan class figure, it would probably have to be bigger than Fortress Maximus. And, you know, you could have all sorts of playability with core class figures if you do collect core class figures, because it would scale in with those. I think it would be an absolutely brilliant idea for a Titan class figure. But again, it's such an obscure character that I just don't think Hasbro would actually probably ever do it. Unless maybe it was a HasLab project, but you know, I think we all have our hands on hearts and are praying that next year's project is actually going to be the RID Megatron. But there you go. So anyway, that's my perfect lineup of figures. What would you do? Are any of these characters of interest to you, or do you have your own lineup of figures that you would like to see? Do please let me know in the comments section. Hit the like, hit subscribe, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video.